pop art, surrealism art. How could this all be? How could this be defined?
Conceptual realism.
Pardon?
Conceptual realism.
This isn't some new thing that just started. This has been boiling for at least 30 years. And it, after the Second World War, abstract expressionism pretty much took over the art world in New York. And the emphasis behind abstract expressionism was that two-dimensional art was far more intellectual than three-dimensional art. And for abstract expressionism to really be successful, three-dimensional representational art had to be kind of disqualified in many respects. So after the Second World War, after the 50s, anything that was portrayed in three-dimensional representation was considered illustration. So there's been a big, long 40-year winter on realistic art. Now, you think, well, what about pop art? Pop art is realistic. Yeah, pop art is realistic, but pop art is about appropriating things around you and reflecting your culture back to you through the objects that you function in. Well, this leaves out imagination and a lot of craftsmanship and daring and abstract thinking. So that just had to be put aside. So what do you do with 40, 45 years of talented artists with imaginations that could draw and paint? Where do you put those people? Well, they have to be comic book artists or tattoo artists or advertising illustrators or one thing or another, work for the movie industry. So you had this big, long, dry spell of people that had these remarkable capabilities and imagination. Now, first let me say this. I'm not denigrating abstract expressionism. I'm a big fan of abstract expressionism. When you go into a bank or a big building and you see that big, beautiful abstract painting there, that's nothing else would work better than abstract expressionism. But the problem was abstract expressionism totally dominated for 20 or 30 years, only to be replaced with pop art and then conceptualism. So you're getting further away from talented craftsmanship. Now, when I went to art school back in the 60s, early 60s, late 50s, early 60s, I liked to draw. Well, I came into the world at the wrong time because I was straightened out that, I had an impacted sense of aesthetics and that I did not suggest perspective or depth in artwork. So anyway, I went from job to job as a draftsman and illustrator, but always painting. So in the late 60s, I got involved with Zap Comics. There's an outlaw underground comic book that came out in San Francisco. And then I found I'm with some very, very other talented artists that had the same problem. They could draw and paint and think, but there was no place for them in the fine arts world. So Zap Comics was a remarkable imagination venue. It just affected a whole generation of young people. But I still wanted to be a painter and not a comic book artist, but my draftsmanship skills got better and better. And I got further away from what I wanted to be in the fine arts world. I did some really beautiful paintings I was proud of, but I had no way to show them in galleries or museums or whatnot. They just weren't tolerated. So along came the punk rock movement in the late 70s and 80s. And in New York and Los Angeles, they had these after-hours clubs that for a reason to sell liquor without a license, they had art shows, punk rock art shows. So I figured, well, I can slap this stuff together pretty fast. I'm a good draftsman. These clubs catered to young people that are drinking too much or on drugs or one problem after another. I think I can graphically satisfy these people's interests. So this is the first time I found a peer group of other artists that were slapping out these aggressive, I don't know how to really describe it. In other words, taste was not an issue with the pictures. It was energy, pure energy. And this was not for the general public. This was for young people. So in no time at all, I developed a remarkable reputation as a punk rock artist, and I had a peer group for the first time in the fine arts world. So anyway, as time went on through the 80s, more young people got in on this, and I was getting a lot of write-ups in rock and roll magazines, tattoo magazines, biker magazines, hot rod magazines. I was getting an enormous reputation. I still wasn't in the fine arts world proper. So anyway, in 1994, we started a magazine called Juxtapose. I was the founder. The Juxtapose catered to this very large growing audience of young artists that were disenfranchised. Okay? So the closest way I could describe this art in this room and most of it in that other room is feral art. Art that's kind of raised itself up by the scruff of its own neck. Okay? So anyway, Juxtapose started selling really good. And then time passed. It started out as a quarterly, and then it got to be bi-monthly, and then it was monthly, and then its sales all over the United States and Europe. It exceeded the sales of Art Forum, then it exceeded the sales of Art in America, then it exceeded the sales of the big one, Art News, and now Juxtapose magazine, for this kind of crap, is the top-selling art magazine in the world. And 20 years ago, the academic art world would not look at Juxtapose. Now it's in every classroom, and they have to deal with Juxtapose magazine because you have all these enormously talented young people. And I don't want to be modest, but I am the father of this situation, good or bad. So when you look around this room and you see this stuff, it's questionable taste. It's overworked. You know, it certainly would not lend itself as decoration in your home. You know, well, people say, well, you know, I like his work, but I wouldn't have it in my house. Well, no, it isn't meant for your house. It's meant for a special viewing chapel for the day. Nonetheless, this feral kind of art, I wrote a number of manifestos. I tried to get other artists to define what direction they wanted to go, but they seem literarily impacted. So it come back on me. And a number of these artists say, well, Robert Williams doesn't speak for me. Well, I have to speak for them when they get in trouble. You're seeing an interesting phenomenon here that if I wasn't born, this is going to happen anyway. This is coming. People like to look at pictures. And I really don't know where to take it beyond that, but, you know, it's just a form of art that is taking care of me, taking care of my friends. There's some of my peers that I helped get started and now multi-millionaires and far, far more successful than me, having European shows. And, you know, this thing is something that cannot be ignored. They're just, this is like the genie's out of the bottle kind of art. So, you know, some people call it lowbrow. That was the original name that I gave it 40 years ago. Then people wanted a little more tame name, and they started calling it pop surrealism. Now, let's analyze that name, pop surrealism. Well, pop art depends on appropriation, and this kind of art does not do that much appropriating. And when it comes to surrealism, you have to understand surrealism was a manifesto. It was a communist manifesto that was written in the 20s. That never survived World War II. And when you think of surrealism, you think of Salvador Dali. Well, Salvador Dali was thrown out of the surrealist movement early on because the surrealist movement was not basically about type realism. It was about spontaneous work done from the subconscious. So all these titles for this kind of art movement, they kind of fall short. And so all we can refer to this as this kind of like a feral form of art. Okay? Now I'm sure wiser people than me are going to come along, writers or art critics are going to come along and they're going to encapsulate this with a nice name. But up to this point, it's just kind of a fringe form of art. And the other thing I'd like to point out to you is this kind of art, I would never, ever want to see this kind of art be extremely successful. And I would not want to be a young art student and have to be subject to having to do this kind of art, because this is masochist artwork. This takes an enormous amount of sacrifice, and I certainly wouldn't want to have a gun to my head and say, well, you've got to do this real tight artwork. I do it because it's a compulsion with me. I would never impose this on other people, or the values of this art on other people. But the important thing about this kind of art is it's wide open when it comes to imagination. And there hasn't been, in the last century or up to now, a wide open avenue that just lets your imagination go as far as it can take you. And so you look at this stuff around here and you go, what was this guy thinking? Well, believe it or not, I've got the brakes on when I think a lot of this stuff. So you can edit it and re-edit it and whatnot. So anyway, this kind of art is starting to get recognition in New York. New York's the art capital of the world. Now here's the deal about New York. New York was the art capital of the world after the Second World War because Europe, Paris, was in real dire straits. So everyone in the world looked toward New York. Well, New York got so academic and so controlled and so constipated that you had to actually involve yourself in the society of New York before you could elevate yourself. Now, almost every museum in the United States, and probably Europe and Japan, looked to New York for parental guidance in the arts. And by the time art got to California, and it tried to maintain East Coast sophistication, things kind of got sloppy. You know, the Brooks Brothers suits kind of turned into cutoffs and Hawaiian shirts and flip-flops. So, as much as Los Angeles and San Francisco and Seattle tried to have that sophisticated air, they kind of failed. And that's why this stuff has got a great foothold on the West Coast, because you got hot rod art, you got surfing art, you got underground comics, you got psychedelic posters, you got tattoos, you got all these different kinds of art that come off the West Coast. All this imagination that a regular museum would probably never tolerate, but they haven't come to grips with this. That's why this stuff is so rich in its origin from the West Coast. It's not so much worshiping the West Coast as that the West Coast was like a fertile place for this thing to incubate. So I really don't know where to take you beyond this. I mean, you can look at the paintings. These paintings are not meant to awe you, but they are. There's a certain amount of imagination that goes in here that tries to pull an investigative personality out of you and get you drawn into them. They're entities unto themselves. I can only speak for myself. You got a room in there with a whole bunch of young artists that have been influenced by this, but I'm sure they have their own direction. So I can't sit here and say, well, they're my followers. They're not. But I did knock a hole in the wall from the pastor about 25 years ago. So I don't know. I'm going to have to just let you guys ask some questions, and then I'll run with the ball.